In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the trades I have taken this week. I took about 4 trades this week, and the 4 trades turned out to be a loss. And majority of those trades, about 70% of those my trades, were emotional trades, and I was able to spot it. I had a win last week, but then going to the market this week, I abandoned my rules by not following my confluence is better. What happened also as well was me trying to get what the market already took from me because I've been a Jordan and all of that. So all those things has been just the things that have made me lose confidence in my trading and has been making me lose a lot of trades. But then I did not exceed more than 4 trades this week. I basically hold myself accountable for that. And it was something, even if I had a losing week, it was something I did not violate in my rules because I kept to it. I never wanted to trade more than execute more than 4 trades this week. So without us doing too much, I'm going to head on to the chart and we're going to analyze this trade together. So let's head on to the chart, guys. So guys, looking at the setup I took, I will start from here. As you can see, I took these 2 trades on Nasdaq and also these 2 setups on gold. So first of all, let's start from here, guys. This was the first trade I took this week. Here is what invalidated my setup. I was trying to take a sell at this level because as at this point in the market we were still bearish on the higher time frame. Then something happened. We had a 4-hour zone as at this point that, hold on guys, let me expand this. So as you can see, we had this bearish move right here in the market, this move, then we had a sweep and we had a push down in the market. This push down failed to close the candle body at this level. As you can see, we have another demand here. Price failed and rejected twice at this level. Then we had a break of structure here on the lower time frame. What I could have paid attention to on this trade before, hold on guys, what I could have paid attention to here was to wait for a candle body close at this level. If it's that this weeks would have been a candle body, this trade would have been a validated trade because it tells me sellers are in the market. But then it did not, it rejected as a weak, and I still managed to take the setup thinking, yeah, we had this swing, this low taken because this is a swing low here on the higher time frame, on the 1 hour time frame. Then we had this sweep. This sweep did fail to close the candle body. Then I entered at this level, and as you can see, guys, price came here and validated my setup and changed direction in the market. So it turned out that this was just a liquidity sweep going into this extreme demand zone, this extreme order block here. As you guys can see, price basically just came here, took out the low and started trading back up. This is something I did not pay that attention to at this level because I was not reading this price action by then. And I also had feeling of not taking this trade because I was like, yeah, why would price weak here? I was the anticipation was that we're going to have, once we get in here, we're going to have this candle body close. But I was wrong. I was trying to anticipate what's not always like that. So it's not that I take trades like this, but I just don't know. This was how my week started. Taking a trade just like this by violating my rules of not taking trades that close candle body. I don't take trades that are always weeks like this with zones because it end up failing. But this time I did, and I got my first stop loss for the week. So going on to this next trade, as you guys can see here at this point, we were bullish. I was only taking a continuation setup. We had liquidity above, and I saw this recent order block as a point to sell to buy from. Price retested, and we had this change of character to the upside. Then this gave me a reason to trade. But then what happened is we had a zone here, but this was not a proper zone with imbalance. There was no imbalance here. I just wanted to get into the trade, to take a trade, and then this is what happened. I anticipated that yes, this is going to work out. As you guys can see, price came here, failed, took me out of the market. Then what he did was it retested this demand at this level here. It swept this low, this liquidity low here, as you guys can see here. Then started trading back up. The retest I could have waited for really happened here after this point, after we had this sweep, because this is a sweep. Then we had this break of structure to the upside here in the market at this level here. This was the confirmation I was waiting for at this level that I guessed my way into this trade. As you can see, we had this zone, then we have what was it called, we have demand here, and as you guys can see, price came here, took out this liquidity, gave a break of structure and a retest. Exactly my confirmation that I was waiting for, and price played out nice. It turns out I only rushed into the market to take this setup when the exactly right order block was not even present at that moment I was taking it. So this was the second loss I took. So what I could have done was wait for this level here to be retested and the break of structure to the upside, then a retest, because price, although this is a continuation trade, I don't normally wait for retest on continuation. Sorry, I don't normally wait for standard confirmations on retest trade and continuation trades. So I could have still be able to get my setup from here and still be in, because my stop loss would have been at somewhere around it, because I always give room for stop loss. That is just how I trade, and regardless I'll still get something like this, and I don't even, yeah, I'll still get something like this in the market. So this is, as you guys can see, so this is just it, guys. So that's just it. So going on to the trades I took on US 100. As you guys can see at this point, I'm going to break down this trade for you guys. We're sitting at the supply level here on the higher time frame. This was the supply zone. After price, we had this bullish move. Although I missed a trade at this particular place in the market, but I'm going to come back to that. First of all, is we were sitting at the supply and I was trying to buy at that supply zone. We had this break of structure to the upside, but then as at this level I was actually waiting for a retest before price went to this point. So I had my first target here, taking a trade from this zone, but then price went to my target, then came back and retested it, and I was still anticipating that we'll have a continuation back up to this higher time frame demand, sorry, this higher time frame supply here in the market. But then as you guys can see, that didn't happen as I planned as at that moment. So here is it, guys. So as I after taking this trade, what I could have done better was wait for a standard confirmation at this level, because I know that we were sitting at a supply and the rejection was sharp. I could have waited for a standard confirmation before getting to this trade, but price just took me out of the market, and this is also the loss I took. And also coming down to how I was feeling on taking this trade, I was not stable at that moment emotionally, because I was trying to get back what I lost from the market, what the market took from me, and it turns out that if I keep doing things that way, it doesn't get any better. So coming down to this trade I took today, Friday, I I literally guessed my way into this trade. This was not a trade I would even consider an A plus or an A setup. This was below my plan because what I did was I rushed myself into the market thinking market was going to reverse. We have an NFP release that strengthened US 100, but after this price got to this point, I knew price took out this low, this high. The supply zone closed the candle body, and I knew okay, we're still going higher. But what I did was, after we got this sharp rejection, I sold off at this point here. I never waited for a proper supply zone to use to sell from. I just sold off, and what happened is we had this pushback up that invalidated my setup. The same thing that happened with it, and also the target I was aiming for, price already retested it, and there was no assurance I was coming back because this was the setup here where I was targeting because we have a lot of downside to take once sellers step in. So these are just how my week has been, and I guess my way into this trade as well because I was not emotionally stable as at this point when I took this trade because I was in a losing streak and I was worried about the trade I wanted to take. But I was also scared of this setup because I knew that this was not a kind of setup I do take on a normal day. But it's that I don't have to beat myself up for it. It's just how things go sometimes. But I just have to refine my rules and do things better. But the thing I will still give credit to myself is I never revenge trade any of this trade. I never take a revenge trade. Here is my account. These are the trades I took right here, guys. I never revenge trade and all of that. So it's something better for me. It's something I respect despite the fact of how my week went. So that is it for now, guys. So guys, those are the trades I have taken this week, and those are how it has turned out. I also try to be accountable for everything I do and in the market and all of that to also bring to you guys to see, because I don't want to always find a situation whereby I don't bring out the losses, the bad side of trading, and just only the good side about it. It's not something I want to do long term. If you find this video useful, if you find this video helpful, you can just do to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be glad that I have you as a subscriber. So without us doing too much, I'm going to wrap up this video now and see you on my next video. So have a good day, guys.